everyone, my name is Amanda Del Risco. I'm a first year medical student. I'm here to answer some questions for the LMSA panel. I am from Miami, Florida. I went to Florida International University, which is right in Miami. So coming to Duke was actually my first time moving away from home. And I did take a gap year, and during my gap year, I did a lot of things. I worked as a medical scribe, I worked as a dance teacher, and I volunteered in a clinic for adults with developmental disabilities.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Ayala. I'm a first-year medical student coming from Lafayette, California. I went to UC Davis and then I took 3 years off to do clinical research in a community health center.
Hey everyone, I'm Allie. I'm a first-year MSTP student. I am originally from Colombia, South America, but I grew up in Baltimore and I went to NYU for undergrad. After undergrad, I took 2 gap years where I did research at Hopkins in their neuroscience department.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm an M1 from Los Angeles. I went to Hopkins for undergrad and I also took 2 gap years. I did a master's here at Duke and then worked as a scribe the second year.
Hi, my name is Carmen Clore. I am a second year medical student. My hometown is Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went to Vassar College for undergrad and took a gap year. I worked as a nanny in New York City.
Hey everyone, my name is Camilo Toro. I'm a second year here at Duke Medical School. I'm actually originally from Boston, Massachusetts. My family's from Medellín, Colombia. Saludos a todos los colombianos por ahí. I went to the University of Pennsylvania before coming to Duke, and I spent 1 year there after I graduated. I was helping run an after-school program for high school students. But I'm in my second year, and I have a lot to share about my experience so far.
Hey everyone, my name's Lily. I'm a third-year medical student at Duke this year. I am originally from Columbus, Ohio, and I went to The Ohio State University where I majored in biomedical science and minored in public health. After graduating from undergrad, I came straight to medical school at Duke.
So I'm actually culture chair for LMSA. So one of the events we sponsor is called Café con Conversación, which is a monthly get-together, usually during lunch, where I'll make Cuban coffee and my other culture co-chair will make some cookies or like a different Hispanic pastry. One time we had pastelitos de guava, I think. They were awesome. And basically the whole point of the event is to bring everyone together and to practice their Spanish speaking skills or encourage others to learn how to speak Spanish. It's just a really great time to come together and practice Spanish or learn Spanish. Another event that we sponsored was in combination with Duke Med Interfaith, and it was a screening of Coco. And we did that really for Dia de los Muertos and really to teach the cultural significance of that. We also had our social chair, Anissa, help plan that. She made delicious, authentic Mexican food for all of us to share, and we were able to debrief after on like the cultural meaning of the movie and why it was made, etc.
We had one event where first years met with Latino identifying residents, and they kind of gave us like real insight onto how to best prepare for the wards, what to be like, how to act. We could ask really open questions to them. I thought that was really helpful. And then we organized a big community event called, it was a loteria night at a local coffee shop that is Latinx owned, where we called Coco Cinnamon. We had all kinds of tamales and a DJ from a local nightclub. And we played loteria for money and fundraising, and then we had community donated prizes, and all the money went to a grassroots organization called Siembra NC that does a lot of work for undocumented immigrants from Central and South America.
So for me, LMSA has been one of the most important aspects of my time here at Duke. Last year I was able to contribute as co-president. We had an amazing group of people working on a lot of different types of events, both at school and in the community around us. I think especially in Durham there is a lot of need for representation for Latino medical students, both at the medical level, at the PA level, in the nursing school, in general in healthcare, because there is a huge need to be met for individuals who speak Spanish, who share a similar culture, to be able to provide medical services, medical counseling, interpretation. So there is a huge opportunity to people to be able to, I think, engage in ways that are very meaningful. For me, what that looked like was working in Holton Clinic, which is a free clinic run out of East Durham, or a sliding scale clinic run out of East Durham, where first-year medical students and third-year medical students are allowed to see patients under the supervision of the provider who actually runs the clinic. It also meant interpreting at the Farm Workers Clinic in Benson, North Carolina, which is an hour and a half away from Durham, for Spanish interpreting for patients. And then one of the most important things has been working on Salud, which is a pipeline program for high school students who are in 11th grade in Durham Public Schools to be able to gain exposure to health services careers, and really be able to engage with Duke undergrads and Duke medical students in a kind of like more of a mentorship role.
Being a part of LMSA has actually been an incredibly meaningful experience that I didn't anticipate coming into medical school. I grew up in an area that wasn't like highly populated with Latinx people, and so this is like the first time that I've had a big like Latinx community here, and just being able to become friends with people who, although come from different backgrounds, like we have a baseline understanding of important parts of our lives has been just really, really cool.
Yeah, I think a little bit different than Allie's experience. I grew up in a place where there were a heavy Hispanic presence, and it's something that I don't know that I was expecting to really connect with in medical school, but it's been cool to form a community of people that we can like support each other and be able to talk things out when we run into problems, or like come to ways that we can better help the community. Like for instance, one time UNC, they were on break and they asked us to cover the Benson Clinic, which is one of the rural farm worker clinics in North Carolina. So me and Allie actually went together and translated, which was a really cool experience that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
I'd say it kind of gave me a little group of people that I knew, like, oh, okay, maybe they would get this thing that I need to talk about, would understand when, ICE was doing raids and how that would affect me. Kind of just confidants. I would say it's kind of shaped a lot of my perspective, just being able to feel like I can take a breath in a predominantly white space that's not, it's changing, but have people who theoretically have very similar goals and interests in community health and the Latinx community. So I can think of a few examples. So there's a program called Salud. They created this whole student program that interacts with high schoolers throughout the Durham community. It's like a whole curriculum throughout the year where they teach high schoolers about health and their own health, catered toward the Latinx community. They offer Spanish-speaking sessions for parents and practice courses for the students. It's really cool. We've had in the past health fairs where we volunteered to do like blood pressure screenings, stuff like that. And I think there's just a lot of growth to happen because LMSA in the past has been very tiny at Duke, but Durham's expanding and becoming, like, I think now it's like 20% Hispanic, Latino, so it's exciting.
1 year is the perfect amount of time for preclinicals. I really, really mean that. I truly could not imagine having it any other way. The truth is that medical school is a challenging 4 years, no matter where you go, and your first year is going to be adjusting to that. If you're like me, you did not come to medical school to sit in a lecture hall, and so I could not be happier with finishing that experience in 1 year. I promise that the years on the wards and having meaningful interactions with patients are what you're truly going to learn from. There's a reason that more schools are shortening their preclinical time. So if you are at all concerned about it going too fast or being too challenging, I am here to tell you that it's actually really awesome, and the fact that it's pass-fail just makes it even better.
Med school is hard anywhere you go, but it doesn't seem like I'm overwhelmed at any point, or like I'm like, this is way too much. Like, they really give us time to succeed.
Being able to be at a hospital where you can rotate in the main hospital just as much as you can in the satellite clinics is super important, because different populations of people are going to have different access to different parts of the Duke health system. Duke does a really good job about spreading out its medical students, and the teachers that are at all these clinics, even if they aren't at the main hospital, are amazing. So that's actually been one of my favorite aspects about rotating here at Duke.
I would say second year is very, it pushes you in a different way. It demands a lot. It's graded, which has its own set of expectations for yourself. But I found it so much more enjoyable than first year. I don't know, you go to med school to be with people. And so I get so much energy from that, and to be in the clinical setting and in the hospital, interacting daily and thinking on my feet. I really like that.
I am getting a master's in public health at UNC while also doing my third year research at Duke, so that's one option. The nice thing about the MPH program at UNC is it's only a year, but you also can take a second, third year if you want, which is something I'm doing. There's also a bunch of two-year programs like getting an MBA or a master's in clinical research. You can do any type of two-year program and just take an extra year, which is really a benefit, because really you're only adding a year to medical school, which is pretty unique. There's also a lot of opportunities to teach during third year, so you can teach the first and second year classes and give back the same way students taught you when you were first and second year. There's also opportunity to really just explore whatever you're passionate about, to get back to the community, to volunteer and lead student organizations as they impact the Durham community, which is really awesome. Because you get to pick what you're passionate about, you also get to get back to communities you're passionate about. So being an LMSA, I knew that I was passionate about working with Hispanic populations and creating solutions to the childhood obesity epidemic. So the project I'm working on impacts and works with a majority Hispanic population, which I think is really unique and a cool way to just be really involved in the community and work with families that I really care about.
And I think the main reason why I chose Duke over other schools was really because of the people. Everyone here was just so welcoming, and at first it was kind of weird, but it genuinely is so authentic. I hope to be able to match back in Miami. I really do love it here, so I think it was really nice to be able to pick a school where I know I'll be able to match where I want and really do what I want if I put the work into it. And finally, the biggest other factor was really that year of research. I'm really interested in minority populations and their access to health, and just having that whole year solely dedicated to research was something that definitely pushed me to pick Duke over other schools.
So for me, coming to Duke was a pretty difficult decision. I was raised in Boston, and I went to school in the Northeast as well, and I got into several medical schools that were in the Northeast, in places like New York City, that to me I thought of as very diverse places where I wanted to practice medicine. It wasn't until I came to Duke and saw the diversity of the student body and the diversity of patient populations, and the amazing openness and warmth of all the faculty, that I kind of just felt like over all those places it would be one of the best opportunities for me to engage and grow. I think Durham is an amazing place to live. I think Duke is one of the best, if not the best, medical school. Clinical training is second to none, but more importantly, the kinds of people that end up coming to Duke, I think, are very genuinely smart, just down-to-earth, good people. And that is the kind of the defining characteristic that sold me actually on my second look weekend. Everybody I met was very passionate about something, passionate about very different things, but passionate about something.
But I think Duke does a really great job of creating a collaborative environment where your peers are going to support you and encourage you, and you'll really be able to work together.
Duke provides all the support for you to do whatever interests you, regardless of where you end up in medical school. To me, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. any other way at all.
Yeah, I hope that's helpful.